Hello everyone, and welcome to this professional development on improving secondary instructional practices through technology integration and constructivist techniques. This professional development is part of my capstone project for Western Governors University. Through this project, I hope to address two questions. The first is, what effect does completing the professional development on technology-based student-centered techniques have on the participants' knowledge, skill, and utilization of constructivist student-centered techniques? And the second is, what effect does completing the professional development on technology-based student-centered constructivist techniques have on the participants' views and attitudes towards technology-based student-centered approaches? Um, Before we get started, thank you so much for being willing to participate in this action research study. Um, I just can't say enough for how appreciative I am for your willingness to do so. So this video is to just introduce you to the whole set of intervention that I have planned for you. So we'll start here at this first page. On this first page, the introduction video, that's what you're watching right now, but there's this consent form. This consent form, if you have not signed it yet, you need to do so before beginning any of the study. This is just a typical informed consent form. I advise you to read all of it. A couple things to point out is confidentiality. All data collected during the study will remain confidential. Each participant will create their own unique participant code that will be used to link your responses to the instruments altogether. Once the data is collected, the participant codes will be removed from the data and replaced with indexing letter. For example, instead of being whatever your participant code is, you'll be instructor A or participant A. If your questionnaire responses are included in the study, your name or code will not be used. Your response will be attributed to instructor A or B or C, however many of your responses, or how many different instructors' responses are included. Your participation is voluntary. Your participation in the study is completely voluntary, and you have the right to withdraw at any time. If you choose to withdraw, stop working through the module and email me. At that point, your scores and responses are removed from the study. Also, if you choose to have your scores and responses withdrawn from the final report, you may do so as well. If you have any questions, feel free to call me at my school number. It's listed on the informed consent form, or you can email me at the address listed as well. That email address is also on at the bottom of every single page for the website. So if you have to email me or you have a question, it'll be very easy to find my email. If you have any concerns about what intervention I am putting you through, you can contact the WGU IRB chair at the email listed on this sheet as well. So please sign this and get it back to me. I will keep all these in a locked drawer, so that way no one will have access to who is actually participating in the study. And once all my commitments to WGU are fulfilled, then I will dispose of these appropriately. So if I close that tab right there, then I can hop right back to the home page for the online intervention. So like I said, this is the home page. Here's the email address you can email to ask me questions. Once you've completed the consent form and watched the introduction video, you can go to task 1. Task 1 is the pre-assessment task. So all the pre-instruments are on this page. Here's instructions for task 1. Pre-survey, pre-test, pre-questionnaire. You can access these the same way I showed you the consent form. You click on the top right corner and it'll pop out the survey. It'll list your email address and you'll create your own participant code. Your email address and participant code will serve to link all of your assessments together, all the instruments together. Once the data has all been collected, then those will be removed from the data, so you don't have to worry about your email address being linked to what you said or how you answer certain questions. So do not worry about your responses being used for anything except for the study. Once you complete the survey, there's 3 pages to the survey. This is the first page. All the items of the survey are on the second page, and then the third page is just to submit. Once you're done with the survey, you can click the X and it'll take you back. Pretest is the same way, it's 3 pages, but all the instruments are on the second page, and just make sure you submit it as the third page. And then the pre-questionnaire is set up the same exact way. Once you've taken care of all these pre-instruments, you can move on to task 2. Now for task 2, there's an instructional video as well. For this task, you'll be subjected to a teacher-centered instruction dealing with the angle pairs that result from two parallel lines being intersected by a transversal. The notes for this are right here. The notes are not an instrument for the study, but if you'd like to use them, you can. Same method as before. You click on this right corner, and it'll pop the notes out. If you choose to type on these and save them, then hit File, make a copy, and then you can make a copy and save it wherever you'd like. And once you're all done, you can click back and go back to the page, or you can leave it open by just navigating the tabs like you usually do. Once you've completed the teacher-centered lesson, you'll participate in a constructivist lesson. Here's the introduction for that lesson. Make sure you watch the introduction before doing the worksheet. The introduction will explain what needs to be done on the worksheet. This lesson has the exact same objectives as the teacher-centered lesson, so you'll be learning the same thing. So try to take on this lesson as if you have no knowledge about what happens when two parallel lines are intersected by a transversal. So after task 2, there's task 3. In task 3, this is another example of a constructivist lesson, just kind of a different type of constructivist lesson. For this lesson, you'll be interacting with some literature about constructivism and different teaching techniques and theory. The goal is that you will be able to define constructivism and point out the positive aspects as well as some drawbacks of this technique when you are done with this activity. After the constructivist worksheet, there is a kind of a conclusion activity. It's more or less how I'd wrap it up, given the online nature of this intervention. So take a look at that when you are done with the activity for task 3. Once you're all done with task 3, you can move on to task 4. Task 4, there's the instructional video here. You'll be watching 2 different lessons that are taught with constructivist techniques, and then you'll be completing this outline for converting one of your teacher-centered lessons that you used in the previous years into a student-centered lesson. This outline is not an instrument. However, I'd like to be able to see what your plans are, just so I can just know how successful the intervention has been at helping you think along lines of constructivist techniques. So that's what I'd like to see. So please fill this out accurately and explain your plans for your student-centered instruction. Once you've finished up this outline, as a part of this professional development, you need to execute this outline. So you need to actually create the lessons, all the materials that you need, so that right away when you step in the classroom, this lesson is ready to go. So you don't have to do it in the first week or second week of school, but just design a lesson that you can use in this first semester that's coming up here. Hopefully you'll be able to leave this professional development with a ready-to-go lesson. So you'll have all the worksheets that you need, all the sources that you'll be using, so right away you can just drop it in and use it. And that's task 4. And task 5 is the post instruments. So here you'll do the post version of all the questionnaire tests and surveys that you took back in task 1. As a whole, I think this should take you about 8 hours. It all depends on the time it takes for you to develop your own personal lesson to be used this year. If that takes you longer, then you could stretch to 10 hours potentially. And if you have any questions throughout this whole study, do not hesitate to email me. Just get in contact with me, and I most certainly will help you out. Once again, thank you so much for participating in this study. I cannot tell you how much it means to me, but good luck with this. And as I said earlier, if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.